Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Real Israel podcast with me, your host, Chaim Mailspin. Join us as we dive into Israel's past, present, and future as we explore the rich history, current events, and visionary perspectives shaping this dynamic region. Welcome to another episode of the Real Israel podcast with me, your host, Chaim Mailspin. I'm sitting with an esteemed friend in the Galilee, and his name is Adam Eliyahu Berkowitz, very known. Written a bunch of books, especially books about the red heifer. And he writes also with Breaking Israel News, Israel 365. He's interviewed around the world and has a giant reach. And I have the honor to be with him in his home here. Thank you for doing this podcast.
Thank you, Chaim. It is such a pleasure.
You're an Orthodox Jew. These are your books, Mishnah and the Gemara and the Toldot and the Masechet Avot and Shulchan Aruch and a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
What are you doing with this red heifer? What's the story with the red heifer, or the five of them?
Okay, so a couple years ago, I was sitting at home, and my boss, Rabbi Tuli Weiss, who I love dearly, called me up and said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "It's my day off. I'm going to be, cleaning house." He said, "No, you're going to the airport." I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "The red heifers are landing." I'm like, "Yes, I am." Okay.
Right.
And I went to
On
the
a
airport.
plane?
Well, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah. And so Byron Stinson is this Texan pastor?
Byron Stinson is the head of Bonei Israel, which is a fascinating cooperative effort by Jews and Christians together. And they went around Texas and they said to the ranchers, if you have a red baby cow, let us know and we'll have it checked out. And they managed to find five baby red cows from Red Angus that fit the qualifications, which are very stringent. They can have no more than 2 non-red hairs, no scars, which is actually a problem because when a baby cow is born, they put an ear number in, which makes it, but because this was during COVID, they didn't get ear numbers, so they were kosher.
Wow. Okay.
And then there was a whole problem bringing them to Israel. It's against the law to import farm animals, so they were imported as domestic pets, and they managed to land in Israel. And they've been raised a couple of different places, and now anyone can see them in Shiloh. I highly recommend.
Yes,
Shiloh is where the tabernacle stood for almost 400 years. And you can actually see the cows.
And they have to be a certain age before they can be sacrificed?
Because the Torah says para aduma. Para is a cow, and a calf is an eglah. So because it says para aduma, they have to be a minimum of 2 years, 2 years and 1 month. And so they had to wait because they were imported at the age of 1 year. So they've waited. And the problem is that as they grow older, they have a tendency to grow non-white hairs. So there's a lot of...
Or non-red hairs.
Non-red hairs, correct.
Grow white hair, right.
Non-red hairs. Or to get a blemish. Also, even if you lean on them, they're not allowed to have been used for work.
Right.
So they're not allowed to carry anything. You're not allowed to pet them. They're actually very sweet as a result. Really sweet animals. They are domestic pets. And so the reason why I'm very happy to be speaking with you, and I really appreciate this, is July 1st, there was, they took one of those 5 that was at Shiloh that had been judged to be unsuited for the actual ceremony, which is in Numbers 8, 9. I'm not exactly sure.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Where it says what the criteria are, right.
And what the ceremony is. And there's extensive Jewish literature on how to do this. It's the most complicated mitzvah in the Bible. The Rambam says it's the most enigmatic. No one understands it.
Right. Mystery.
It's
in
a mystery.
2022, we had 5 red heifers come.
Correct.
More came, so they would be older by now. Or no more came? It was
no
just
more
those?
came,
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Though bringing them over and discovering that Red Angus really comes close was a huge step forward. And the ones we have, even if they're unsuited, they can be used for a breeding program. They're still investigating whether or not genetic manipulation is allowed. Which would also make it very easy.
Interesting.
But the red heifer itself is phenomenally rare. From the time of Moses until the destruction of the temple, there were only 9 red heifers, and they were enough to purify the entire nation for all those thousands of years.
And that's millions of people,
Correct.
and they would be purified with ashes. Just quickly, guys, turn to Numbers chapter 19, verse 1 through 22. It just says, God commanded this. This isn't something some of the people are Christians, some are of all kinds of people. They might say, did you make this up as an Orthodox Jew? People think weird thoughts. No, Elohim, God commands Moses and Aaron to take a flawless, unyoked, red heifer, completely red, without blemish. They might not have read this, even though it's in the Bible. The cow is slaughtered outside the camp, burned with cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet wool. The ashes are mixed with living water, spring water, and to create the Menidah, the waters of purification. The water is used to cleanse the people who became ritually impure from contact with a corpse and other things. Now, would this be essential before a temple? Is this like the beginnings of what would be needed to cleanse before a temple would be built?
No.
Okay.
So there are a couple very important points that are misunderstood. One is we don't need a temple.
Right.
Okay. We don't need a temple structure. What we do need is Jews are only allowed to do the offerings in the same spot that King David did his initial altar. Okay, on the Temple Mount, in that spot. Right. And that was the same spot for the first and second temple. We don't need an actual temple structure. We need an altar. An altar is a pile of stones. Right. Really, you can just go up, throw down stones, start, and then when you're finished, take the stones away and hose it down. When we came back from Babylonia, they immediately began, the Jews immediately began the temple service, but they did not immediately build the temple, and they were criticized for it.
But Bamidbar means in the desert in Hebrew. Bamidbar in the desert is numbers, which I think is a kind of strange translation in English. Numbers, it sounds kind of boring. But in the desert is where this was happening. We didn't even have a temple at the time.
Right, but it says in the Torah, michutz lemachaneh, outside of the camp.
Outside the camp.
So we learn that's a very interesting thing, because it would be inaccurate to call the red heifer a sacrifice, because it does a lot of things that are non-sacrificial. It's outside of the temple, and it's more like you have to sacrifice. You have to slaughter the cow in order to produce the ashes, and the ashes are used to purify Jews from tumat met, from the impurity, ritual impurity
corpse
that comes from proximity to a corpse. And it's important to remember, impurity is not sin.
Right.
Okay. So this is not a sin offering. It's not coming to atone. It is coming to purify. You can have done a sin and be ritually pure. You can be ritually pure and sin.
Yeah. But this purity is kind of before you go into a holy place, like the temple.
It's before Jews go up to the temple, and only Jews can become ritually impure.
Right.
Because we're the only ones allowed to go up to the temple.
Right.
We serve you. Right. Yeah. You want to bring a sacrifice to God in Jerusalem? Right. I serve you. I take your sacrifice, bring it up to the Cohen. The Cohen serves both of us and does the sacrifice.
People forget there was an entire court of the nations out there, that the Jews are essentially the priests of the world.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole world
that's what's written.
Needs us.
That's what's written. So we don't need the temple. And the flip side is we are absolutely required at this moment, as I'm sitting here, I have a requirement to take part in the temple service. Right now I cannot, and it's not because of impurity, it's because the government will not allow us.
Right.
Okay. We are required to bring offerings even in a state of ritual impurity, as long as they are public, time-bound offerings. So those include the twice daily offerings. Those include
a lamb in the morning, a lamb at night, daily oblation.
Most of the feast offerings, and it absolutely includes the Paschal lamb.
So just a quick, I know you do advocacy for the Temple Mount as well, and and there's ministers even of the government who are maybe more religious, who are Orthodox, who are wanting to advocate for that. Are you saying and I've seen pictures, people have seen pictures, and for some reason this causes such an international hullabaloo, because of they see a Jewish person with a sacrifice going to the Temple Mount, where there is still an Islamic mosque or whatever that building is, the Dome of the Rock, and
it's not a mosque, but it's a shrine. But okay,
a shrine there for something that's not in the Quran at all. We know Jerusalem's not mentioned at all in the Quran. A story came out way later, after the Quran, which says that he was flown.
Listen to this guy; he knows what he's talking about.
Flown in a night journey to El Aqsa Mosque, but it doesn't even say
on the winged donkey.
Yeah, and on a winged donkey. Angel Gabriel was part of this, and which I don't think anyone would agree with that. And then it was taken to Al-Aqsa Mosque, which was not actually Jerusalem. It doesn't mention, it's actually Jannam, Saudi Arabia. So it's a completely different place that he was allegedly flown to.
And they've decided, and what's interesting is now, they won't let Arabs from other countries go into the mosque.
Interesting.
Because they're normalizing relations with Israel. It's the Palestinian attachment to the Temple Mount is not religious, it's political. That's all it is. So we're required to bring up the sacrifices.
Yeah, to your point, is you want advocacy. You yourself would love to see people bring a daily oblation there, and the red heifer. Well, the red heifer would have to be outside the camp, so it would be essentially
I wish I didn't have to advocate. I've got this commandment. We don't do cafeteria religion. I can't pick and choose. God said I've got to do. I wish I could have shrimp scampi. I love shrimp. I can't. God said no. Sorry, dude. He's bigger than me. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, they say it's what people in Israel don't know what shrimp tastes like. It's like they say it's like just tastes like butter. Anyway, never mind. We're getting off the subject. But the important thing is that so you would like to see a red heifer sacrificed, or it's already been sacrificed, and it has to be not on the Temple Mount, but on the Mount of Olives outside the camp.
Yes, it is only on the Mount of Olives.
Okay.
So would I like to see it? Yes, because that would permit us to bring the personal non-time-bound sacrifices, which would include sin offerings. And I cannot bring an offering for you if I'm impure, because that's a personal offering.
Right.
So we can start the temple service tomorrow. We should start the temple service, but we cannot serve the nations without the red heifer.
Right. Now there's a mysterious verse. I have to bring it up for those people who don't know anything about this. It's found in Ezekiel chapter 36. A lot of people might know that. You can turn your Bibles to Ezekiel. It says, I will gather you out of all the... I'll just read from verse 23. It's all great. I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the nations, among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the nations will know that I am the Lord, God of Israel. Thus says the Lord, when I am sanctified before your eyes, for I will take you out of amongst the nation, out of the countries, and I will bring you into your own land. So he's going to be sanctified by the Aliyah. By the Aliyah, he's going to be sanctified, but it doesn't end there. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you will be clean from all your filthiness, from all your idols. I will cleanse you. And it goes on, and a new heart I will give you. Many people watching would say, well, that is, a new heart is a promise in Jeremiah, a new heart and a new spirit. My spirit I will put within you. I'll take out this heart of stone. I'll put a heart of flesh in it. So with holding off for a second on the new heart and the new spirit I will put in you, what is this clean water? It's not baptism. Nope. It's not baptism, or it's not mikvah. I'll tell you why it can't be. Because everybody watching this knows it's full immersion. Baptism, mikvah, is full immersion. It's not what is the bishop or the cardinal or they sprinkle something like this. That is not, but it says, I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you will be clean from all your filthiness.
No, that's the crazy thing. You take this tiny, tiny speck of the ash, you put it in a big vat of water, and then you take hyssop, and you spritz it. And Professor Zohar Amar did this amazing test run. And he figured out how much wood you can put in the fire, because that's also included in the ashes, and how much ash it produces, and how much, according to the Jewish sources, ash you use in water, how much water, and how much sprinkling. And he figured how many, literally billions of people can be purified by one cow. And we have
because you just put a giant vats of water.
Yeah, this room full of people go whoosh.
Okay.
And everyone's pure.
Okay.
And
it's a sprinkle.
I imagine they're going to have these, you know how like you go out to this sidewalk cafe and it's really hot, they have the sprinklers that mist? I'm sure they'll do that.
I was just saying, should every immigrant that comes to the Ben Gurion
Or you have this
Airport,
like mister that the Cohen walks around.
Maybe everyone that comes to the Ben Gurion Airport made Aliyah. It's like pass by Rabbi Eliyahu Berkowitz and he's going to mist you. Or does the Sanhedrin, there is a Sanhedrin as well. Oh, just a quick word on, there's the Sanhedrin, there's the Temple Institute, then there's a bunch of cool people like you.
Okay, I'm a parrot. I talk. That's all I do. Okay, but I talk to the right people. But
Okay, so let's call it the Sanhedrin. There's the Temple Institute, and then there's Kohanim, priests, or people with the last name Cohen.
Right.
Which
well, not just, but in order to do this, we need a specially trained priest. and especially prepared priest. And that's actually the easy part. And it's something I have to emphasize. I don't think Christians understand how careful we have protected the traditions since Moses. Okay, a Cohen is descended from Aaron the priest, from Moses' brother.
Right.
I can walk around my city and I can say, he's a Cohen, he's a Cohen, he's a Cohen.
Yeah.
If you go to the cemetery, there are gravestones with, you see pictures of hands like this.
Yeah.
They're Kohanim. So even if you don't know that you're a Cohen, you go to your grandfather's gravestone, you can find out if you're a Cohen or not.
Yeah.
The same is true of Levites, but Kohanim are even more special. They're not allowed to marry converts. They are not allowed to enter cemeteries. So we know who the Kohanim are. It's like beyond a shadow, and it's been proven genetically. There's the Cohen gene. But for the purposes of the red heifer, it has to be pure, meaning they have to have been born at home, because they're dead people in hospitals. Can never have gone outside of Israel.
Unless they touch a dead heifer, a red heifer ashes, then they're
Unless
pure.
they're sprinkled, which we don't have yet. Also, we're at a problem that every other red heifer that came before this was done when they had previous ashes of red heifer.
So let's just dispel any shadow of a doubt here from your perspective. Has a really actual ritually pure red heifer been a sacrifice, and its ashes are there, and it's just all being kept a secret and nobody knows about it, but we're moving forward with the temple construction right now?
Okay, the short, quick answer is no. The longer answer, involved answer is no. Okay. What happened was this. They had one cow that was judged, inspected, and inspecting the cows is not easy. Inspected and judged to be not suited and not potentially suited, meaning it didn't look like the hairs were going to fall out or turn color or anything, and they needed to do a test run because there are a gazillion and one details that have to be worked out.
Test run, okay.
So July 1st, they did a test run, and they did not want anyone to know about it, and word got out, and even some pictures.
But does that mean all 5 are disqualified?
No.
Well, there's only 4
and
left
I really
now.
want to clarify this. There are 4 cows left.
Right.
2 of them have been judged to be unsuited and will not be suited. 2 of them still have potential.
Okay.
So there are 2 that are still potentially able to be used for the red heifer ceremony. And they're still being raised, all 4 of them, and the Temple Institute is pursuing that, and they're on top of it. So what happened was there was this ceremony, this ritual, tirgul.
A dry run.
A dry run.
Yeah.
And they brought in an actual Cohen to give him practice. This was a specially purified Cohen who had never gone into a cemetery and born at home. Now we have a problem. The Kohanim who go into Gaza might not be.
There's all kinds of graves.
Right.
There's all kinds of
Oh my gosh,
things.
buried underneath the rubble, and you don't know if you walked over a tunnel where there's a grave where there was a hostage. So they did this test run, and pictures got out, and someone involved in it, and I'd rather not say in particular who, said no, it was totally kosher. He might have even been misunderstood. He might have said there are still kosher cows, and people misunderstood him.
Could be.
People tend to misunderstand what they want to misunderstand. And then there was a YouTuber who went online, and he did a video that got millions of views in which he said, oh, it was totally kosher, and I have ashes.
Oh.
Okay.
Fake news.
I don't want to say it was fake news, but it was misinformation.
Misinformation,
And
right. There's a difference between misinformation and disinformation.
And it was right.
Yeah.
And it was broken telephone. People took that and took it even further. And it became the Jews have a conspiracy and they're hiding it from the world.
Okay, but let's just play out, let's just say tomorrow one of those pure, let's just say one is potentially pure, and it is sacrificed, not in a dry run, but it's with that same priest, 18-year-old or whatever this young man is, who's a pure priest, and I understand he's with the Sanhedrin or he's with the Temple Institute or both?
He's with the Temple Institute, and there's the part of the Temple Institute, Rabbi Zaria Ariel, has been in charge of finding a red heifer for 15 years.
Right.
And it's crazy intense studies on things, the things that we haven't done practically for 2,000 years. And also, a lot of new stuff is happening in the world that we have to ask about.
Yeah.
One question, can we take a red heifer and helicopter it in and not go through the cemetery?
Another
Can we
question,
do that?
Yeah. The Mount of Olives itself is full of cemeteries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's just
how
take
do
a helicopter.
Yeah.
And maybe.
Even under the road, there could be maybe graves. It's hard to know.
Can we use genetic manipulation? All kinds of questions. So he's been studying this for 15 years. So can we do it tomorrow? Not only can we are required.
Yeah,
we are required to do it tomorrow. Like I said, we're not cafeteria religion. We're not allowed to ask questions. I don't wake up and say, gee, I don't know. It's the time to put on tefillin and I have tefillin. I don't want to.
Would that one potentially be televised?
Televised? Well,
I mean, there's no
they
reason
didn't have television in the temple, and
Right.
the television wasn't written about in the Torah, so only men would be it. Yes, of course.
Okay.
The third temple will have air conditioning. Okay.
Yeah, right,
and electric amplifiers. I tell my sons to practice guitar because third temple will have amps. Okay.
Yeah, imagine
Marshall
the Levites
stacks.
of today coming back. That is so beautiful. I will say this to people watching, that the Sanhedrin does get a bad rap.
Yes.
Really, because it took me years to find out it's not a kangaroo court. This isn't, what is his name?
No.
Escobar and the cartels where they're let's just do whatever we want and make up a bunch of stuff. I think there was a certain special night where there was a certain Galilean rabbi named Yeshua who it looked like a kangaroo court because there was a bunch of false things or people getting paid off to say this or that in the account. And so people think that's how it operates. But that almost needs to be, we're getting in a whole subject, I don't want to go too deep in it, but that almost needs to be rehashed and redone to not look like a kangaroo court, because that's not how it operates. That's not how it operates in Judaism. Thank you for watching this episode. If this episode touched you, your voice matters. There's hostages, there's tunnels, there's frontline voices that the media just won't bring to you. We are in the 8th front of this war. 7 fronts is Iran and its proxies. This is the 8th front, the media, the disinformation. Your gift, your donation helps us share the truth. Please donate on the link below.